Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Squared Circle Jerks podcast. I am Broccoli Lesnar, and who's that jumping on the mic? MEO Mysterio, don't love them hoes. Mike, how's it going?
It's going really good. I just watched Croatia defeat the Denmark people, the Danes,
It's just Denmark.
in a shootout, and we're going to the final eight at the World Cup for the second time ever.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. First time we've been past the round of 16 since 1998.
Well, I mean, if you just shot more people in the knee, that'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
I mean, that is something that we do specialize in, and you may also be hearing my roommate play the guitar in the background. It's a nice bit of atmospheric music, if nothing else.
Is he playing Pink Floyd? Is that what I'm hearing?
That is Pink Floyd, yes.
Excellent. Well done. He's got taste. Why don't we start with the random bits of news?
Sure.
We here at the Squared Circle Jerks podcast must issue a retraction. Last week was apparently there was a story going around that there was an altercation of some sort with a semi-physical nature between Big Cass and Carmella. Apparently that was false. Apparently that didn't happen.
That's good. That makes me feel a lot better about Big Cass.
Exactly. He didn't seem like that kind of dude. Like he doesn't seem like a kind of guy that needs to do things like that.
It also seemed kind of weird after they'd already been broken up for some time to do such a thing.
Yeah, I think they've been broken up for not a year, but at least 8 months or something.
I want to say like 6 months, but yeah,
Could be
half year plus.
Yeah. What else have we got going on? Robbie E and Laurel Van Ness have had their NXT tryouts, which is confusing to me because I thought they signed Laurel Van Ness like 6 months ago.
Well, this tends to be what the case may be, is that it takes a long time. I mean, case in point, Donovan Dijak.
Yeah, that's true. But they've definitely said that they had tryouts, so they're not signed under contract yet.
Well, it could be like the final tryout. We've signed you to a preliminary, come in, have a tryout match contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then, depending on that. Because, I mean, realistically, you're on almost a permanent tryout in NXT. They can cut you without any forewarning or reason, really. So you're pretty much always on a tryout match.
That's true, but it's I assume they wouldn't just do that to, I don't know, like Heavy Machinery.
Well, not now, because Heavy Machinery is over. But it's a bit surprising that it took that long for Laurel Van Ness, who's been a pretty big deal in Impact Wrestling. Not so much Robbie E, who's also been a big part of Impact Wrestling as well, but having been familiar with Robbie E, he's not a fantastic worker by any means.
Yeah, fair enough. What else we got going on here? Nakamura got bit by a police dog on the ass.
That sounds like something that would happen to Taguchi.
Yeah, pretty much. Apparently what was going on is the EOD techs were going through some venue that they were at bomb disposal people, and just searching around, looking around, and then this Nakamura happened to be in a room or was somewhere, and this dog just went and got a hold of his, they were saying leg, but now people are saying ass. So, that's weird.
It's less serious if it's the ass.
That's correct. Apparently he's like, it was serious enough that he's not able to wrestle right now, even though they're in Japan.
That has to suck.
Yeah, and he's on crutches or something, I heard. So that's weird. Enzo Amore has come forth with more about his own backstage heat. Apparently, back in NXT, he and ya Boyd the Trips had a loud argument because, and I don't remember the whole details. You watch the Wrestle Talk video if you want. But basically, Triple H wanted things done a certain way, and from what I can tell, Enzo wasn't totally wrong, and he's pretty, like, what he was saying was kind of forward-thinking about character work and stuff like that. And, Triple H may be a little indoctrinated to the whole wobbly bee stamp press product thing. So Triple H wanted things done a certain way, and Enzo said that's probably not a good idea. But they got into a big argument about it, and I don't know, maybe it was nothing. but maybe it was something. And so he's apparently had heat since way back in, but they called him up anyway.
Well, I mean, he got his chance and kind of fumbled it, so I guess it didn't really impact his career that much.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think he fumbled anything. I mean, sure, it would be better if he was twice the wrestler he is.
Well, but... no. Like, I think he fumbled it out of the ring. I don't think it was in-ring stuff that was his problem, but I think his personal life is a little bit of a train wreck.
That is not untrue. Speaking of train wrecks, Dolph Ziggler's contract is probably expiring very soon. You may remember, back in the wobbly bee dark times of the Loyal Lumble, your boy Zigglesworth won the U.S. title, threw it on the ground, walked out, and then people were all speculating about his contract, and then there was a massive rumor that he had signed this huge, like, multi-million-dollar contract because they wanted to keep him, which weeks later was turned out not to be true. He had not signed any kind of contract. They were still negotiating. Well, apparently they're still negotiating. And your mechanical keyboard is horrible.
Yeah, I know. It's Airborne's freaking texting me.
Tell him not to.
I did. That's literally what I typed.
Ignore me!
Well, if I don't tell him to shut up, it's just going to keep beeping.
That's possibly true. So there's speculation on that, whether or not he's going to be leaving, or they're actually going to give him the money he wants, or, you know, what kind of push they're going to give him. They have given him some sort of a push. I haven't watched any of it, but I've heard good things.
True.
And, so...
Well, he's with Drew McIntyre, which I think is generally a winning formula.
Absolutely, but it would be a bigger winning formula if both of those guys could just get their individual pushes, because they don't need Drew McIntyre to be saddled with anybody.
True, but I think it's a good way of rehabilitating Drew McIntyre a little bit, because keep in mind when he was on the main roster before, he was a 3-man band. It's, you know, so there's a little bit of image rehashing to do for him before people, I think, could take him fully seriously. And I know, like, the hardcores, we've seen his work on the independent scene and in Impact, and it's fantastic. It's great. He has a chance to be one of the, I would say, top 20 big man in the industry right now. And this is, I think, a good way of getting him reestablished within the WWE universe as a top guy.
Yeah. I would disagree. They did it in NXT in like 3 weeks.
Oh, sir! Like the thing is, NXT, 1, you're dealing with a much hardcore fan base. 2, people don't watch it.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to you and I, but it matters to the casual fans. And we've always said, how does WWE make its money despite having such a shitty product? And the answer is the casual fan.
Yeah, but they keep fucking everything up. Like, they fucked up Sanity.
Oh, I know. The whole Sanity thing is mind-boggling to me. Like, that's confusing as all shit as to how that's happened.
It's real easy. You get Drew McIntyre to come out. He kicks the dick off of 8 different people in 3 weeks. And suddenly, magically, you've got somebody who's massively over. It's an easy formula.
It is an easy formula, but it's one that you could continuously do. Like, I don't mind this idea of having him be the muscle for a bit. It makes you forget about his backstory, which is good because his backstory is bad in the WWE, and you can move on from there. So I think it's not a bad idea. My question becomes, what is the end goal? Because if the end goal is these two as a tag team, or these two is not a big deal, if this is not Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash 2.0, then you've fucked up and you've left it to the wayside. And the thing is, if I had faith in the WWE to have long-term storytelling, which we might talk about a little bit more with Lucha Underground, then I would have like 0 doubts that this was going to work. The problem is that I don't trust them to tell a long-term story. So it will probably get fucked up. The thing is, that doesn't necessarily make this a bad idea on its own. It's the execution that worries me.
Yeah, which they fuck up constantly. What else we got going on? Team Hell No have reunited at least for one night only, which I guess is good. I haven't seen a single Daniel Bryan WWE match prior to this year, so people tell me it was a thing.
I enjoyed Kane and him as a tag team. It was fun.
Fair enough.
Not like
I
the
also
great
enjoyed Kane and Xbox. Xbox.
It's got a similar vibe to the Kane Xbox tag team. Picture Kane Xbox, but with a more sympathetic little guy and a better match quality because Daniel Bryan can work his ass off a lot better than Sean Waltman.
Yeah,
and Sean Waltman's a good worker. This is not the anti-Xbox hour, but
Indeed.
The comparison, like Daniel Bryan, he's better at everything that you'd want from the character.
Exactly. There is some weird bullshit going on with Brock Lesnar and wrestling. Apparently, they're trying to do some kind of dumb worked shoot thing where Brock Lesnar is refusing to defend his title. Like, who cares? That title might as well not exist.
That's basically been the storyline the whole time.
Yeah. But I don't get it. Like, they're trying to make it a big deal, and no one cares.
Yeah, the Brock Lesnar title run has... It had value if we go back in time, but it has been too long. The title's not being defended in meaningful matches. And that's the other thing, is that Brock Lesnar is perfectly capable of giving me like a really good match, and that would make this worth it. He's not, though.
Yeah. There were, Steven Larson did an interesting, like, top 10 people they would like to see take the title off of Lesnar, who, weren't obvious choices. So, no Reigns, no Joe, no Braun Strowman.
To be honest, I was hoping that, this is going to sound weird because I've been anti the Roman experiment. I was hoping that Roman would take the belt off of him and get shat on.
End that bullshit.
Exactly. Like, the only thing worse than the idea of the Roman Reigns coronation was to go that far and then not do it.
Yup. Actually, I was going to say they had a couple of interesting thoughts out of the 10 they chose. One of them was Goldberg, which I'd totally be down for. That would be fun. Like, just surprise, bitch, I'm back. But that would again rely on long-term storytelling and actual thought and preparation.
Yeah, and it also puts us back in the place where you have a champion that's not going to wrestle on any kind of regular basis.
Yeah, but he'd still be there at shows.
Yeah.
And that would be a much better thing, I think.
It would be an improvement, but I just think that there are better options.
Yeah, listen, I would be fine. They could, basically, we're going to talk about Lucha Underground later. You remember when Mil Muertes won the title and just kind of like held onto it and nobody...
He was the emperor of the temple?
But unless there was a special occasion, it didn't mean anything. Like, you couldn't get a shot at that title. He was there. He was on a fucking throne overseeing everything. You knew he was there. He had a presence. And getting the shot at that title was special. Not just, oh, we have a champion, don't we? I mean... Can somebody call? He doesn't have a phone? Oh, that's weird. So,
well, I mean, getting a title shot at Brock Lesnar is special in the sense that it doesn't happen much.
Yeah, the problem is that it's going to cost him $700,000 to make it happen.
Yeah, the problem is more that the storyline behind it is the problem in a nutshell. Yeah. You're not really telling me a story that makes me want to see Brock Lesnar wrestle. Whereas with Mil Muertes and Lucha Underground, they did. There was a very big build-up, a story around the evil magic and so on of Katrina, and that was what justified it. With Brock, it's not really justified in any way other than, like, literally in storyline, he doesn't want to, and in real life, he doesn't want to unless you want to pay him a lot of money. So there's literally no storyline.
Yeah. And the last bit of news is Jericho was, I believe, on a podcast and kind of let slip that he's agreed to do way more dates with New Japan.
Awesome. I heard the main hiccup is that he won't do North American dates for them.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. He's trying to walk a political line where he doesn't want to do anything that's going to, get under Vince's skin. And,
which is smart from the business standpoint. Like, that's why Chris Jericho right now is the smartest man in pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's a smart business decision. It's a smart personal decision, it's just the best decision, really. So he's agreed to keep doing dates with them.
Which was always the assumption. I mean, they put a belt on him.
Yeah. And with Naito, I don't know if they're going to continue the feud with Naito or if they're going to have Jericho just have one-off matches against people while holding the belt. So, who knows?
I think that is more likely because I think you want to involve Naito in a more ongoing storyline than Jericho's schedule allows for.
But they were still getting really good hype over just video packages.
Oh, yeah. No question. I mean, it could work, but I think there's some other things you can do. You can spread the shine around a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Jericho versus Juice would be great, but we'll talk about the G1 Climax. All these people are in the G1 Climax, so they're going to be busy for the summer, and I think that gives Jericho free reign to just do if they want to have him do a match at the Climax finals, then that's cool. Then they don't have to. He can hold on to the belt until Kings of Pro Wrestling, or who knows.
That's very true.
Oh, and I got one other tidbit of news. Apparently, it's going to cost Vince McMahon $500 million for his first season of the XFL.
Makes sense. That's pretty much what you're looking at for any kind of major organization, sports-wise.
Yeah. Oh, I keep forgetting. Rich Swann is officially signed with TNA now.
It's good. I mean, he's been cleared of wrongdoing, although I still have significant questions.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of hearsay, and unless I have a future pattern unless somebody can establish for me a pattern of behavior like this, I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's gonna be working with his wife in TNA, so if there's a problem, it'll probably become rather apparent. So we'll
exactly. See. Oh, another interesting idea they had in there, random people to take the belt from Lesnar. They thought, well, just jump Keith Lee right in that fucking thing. Which I would be in favor of.
It's a nice idea, but it's not going to happen.
No, exactly. It would be. I think it would be one of the best ideas because you could just instantly jumpstart a guy's career overnight. Just boom, you just came in and had Keith Lee's capable of having that match against anybody, really. And if they go out and say, oh yeah, Brock Lesnar, I'm not gonna defend my title against any of you fucking dipshits. I've had enough. I don't want to. I've beat the shit out of Reigns 75 times. I beat all the rest of you guys last year. I'm not interested. But I'll issue an open challenge to anybody that's not these idiots. And then, randomly, I don't know, Goldberg shows up, Keith Lee shows up, Aleister Black shows up. Fucking who knows.
I mean, it's a good idea as long as you have faith that Keith Lee's going to be a long-time component of the WWE machine.
Well, so Vince does like big sweaty men.
Yeah, but the question is that if I'm going to throw out kind of the worst case business scenario here. Worst case, Keith Lee comes in, takes the belt from Lesnar, doesn't re-sign. Yeah. Bam! Massive cred everywhere on the indies if he wants it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a thought, and it's something that intrigued me. And that's all the random tidbits of news that I can randomly come up with.
Then shall we hit on to some 205 Live?
Oh my god. Dos o Cinco Livo.
I think, just a quick comment about the opening of the 205 shows. I kind of like the Drake Maverick card rundown.
Yes.
But I would shorten it a little bit.
I would not. Maybe, but
I think the thing is that he can announce the card. That's great, but they've been doing the last couple of weeks. They've been doing a bit of a rundown of the story, like a little hype package, and it's we just saw this last week. Don't really.
Yeah, but
need the re-hype.
I like the fact that he's instilling meaning, he's inferring that there are rankings to this. There's a hierarchy, and you got to get wins to go up that ladder. They're not.
No, I like that.
A top 10 list.
I like that.
I like the fact that they're instilling these matches are happening today, and if they want to get some shit done, or if they want title shots, then they got to get wins.
Oh, I would totally keep that 100%. Nothing about what Drake is doing would I change. I would just avoid all right, we got to throw in the Kalisto Gulak hype package about their match last week. I saw it. I don't need to see it in a hype package.
Yeah, that's true. I can't disagree with that, really. But I get back to the WCW days when I was watching it early on. They actually had a top 10 list. Like they would show you every week who's on the top 10 list. The champion would be number one. Your number one challenger is number two, and everybody else in line. And you'd see guys go up and down rankings, and you had an actual tangible way to measure how people were doing or who you should be paying attention to.
Yeah, no, I and I'm a big fan of that. Like I'm one of those few MMA fans who actually looks at the UFC rankings to understand how things work. No, unfortunately, they don't have those rankings. John Fitch gets ranked up number 2. He ain't getting no title shot. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, nobody wants to see him get a title shot.
Hey, I enjoyed GSP John Fitch.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. It was an awesome ass beating from bell to bell. But nobody's excited to see John Fitch fight anybody.
See, I've always disagreed. Now, I'm going to say John Fitch, more than half the time, was a boring fighter. But there were some really good fights mixed in there if you really gave it a shot. I think people just look at a John Fitch fight and go, oh, that must have been boring. But like him versus Eric Silva, fantastic fight. Probably the second best fight Eric Silva ever had. And the best being his Matt Brown fight. So, I mean, you know. The Demi Maia fight with John Fitch was also very good. I really enjoyed John Fitch Diego Sanchez. You could argue that it's the other guy making it exciting, and that's definitely a possibility. But there are some good John Fitch fights.
I will accept that opinion and never rewatch another John Fitch fight in my life.
Go watch John Fitch versus Eric Silva. That's the only one that I would actually suggest watching if you've not seen it.
Maybe I probably have seen it, and it's so boring I can't remember it.
No, it was really good.
Okay, fair enough.
John Fitch went out there. John Fitch went out there and said, "You know what? I'm a grinder. I'm a controlling guy. But you know what? I can put a pace on you. I can break you."
So we started out 205 Live after our lovely recap and highlights. We got Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese. The opening, like half of this match was fine, but not good. And then about halfway through, Tony Nese hit a shote, and I have in knocked out Akira's mouthpiece. And I have in all caps, Shote!
Shote!
They fucking wear no mouthpiece!
I relatively enjoyed the match, although it's not exactly up there on the classic Akira Tozawa list. I will mention that I don't think Percy Watson knows what pandering means.
Correct.
Because at one point, I believe Nigel McGuinness accused Akira Tozawa of pandering to the crowd. And Percy's like, he ain't pandering to the crowd. He's a former champion. I'm like, being a former champion does not mean that you cannot pander to the crowd.
Correct. I think he's got to get one fundamental basic use of English wrong per week, and sometimes per match.
I would say per match.
The match was fine. I didn't have any problem with it, but it really didn't get me excited until the giant shote, and I was like, oh, fuck, Liger likes that one. I can feel Liger smiling from a ways off.
Indeed. They gave Tozawa the win, which is good because Tozawa needs a little bit of rehabilitation. He needs a couple of wins to get back to where he was.
Like, when was the last time Tony won an actual match?
So the thing is I look at Tony as a future project. He's got some learning to do. He's got some things to put together in the ring and also character work. It's very good, but it's going to be better. Whereas Akira, I think, is the now.
Yeah, that's true. We followed that up with a Cedric and Drake Maverick face-to-face. Cedric speaks absolute truth, and he's like, when's my next title match? It's going to be against Hideo Itami. And Drake's like, well, I don't reward bad behavior. He cheated. He's like, well, he didn't really cheat. He earned he's earned everything. It's like, it's got to be him.
It's a three-way match. You can't cheat.
Yeah. So, I mean, Cedric is the new face that speaks truth, and I'm liking that.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this, actually. This was one of my favorite Cedric Alexander promos that didn't involve Goldust.
Absolutely. Although, please, can we have more Goldust?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is like, I've looked at two things that are kind of bugging me about 205 Live right now is what happened to Titus Worldwide with Akira? Because I'll keep wanting to see Akira's best friend, Apollo Crews, show up to encourage his best friend or his manager to show up. There was no storyline that broke them up. Like, it kind of made sense when he was with Tommy to kind of drop it to the sidelines, but bring that back. It gave another reason to care. And Goldust is the same thing.
I'm just wondering if they didn't want to pay you boys to show up on 2 shows for 1 week.
I mean, don't do it every week, but like keep the storyline going, keep some life in it. Because I again, the thing is like WWE keeps talking about record profits, etc. The books look good, great. I can even go do my own XFL League 2 again. Then don't skimp on the money to make 205 Live a worthwhile viewing experience.
Correct.
Plus, you don't have Titus or Goldust half the time on either of the Raw or SmackDown shows.
Also
so
correct.
Just have them show up on 205 Live when they don't have another date booked.
Correct. But I think that's probably why they're doing it. That's the reason why they don't have Pyro. Because they pinched the wrong pennies. And don't spend money where they need to.
Yeah.
We followed that up with Lio Rush's 205 Live debut against Le Jabier. There's a lot of Jabiers this week. Like a lot.
Jimmy James is our jobber of this time.
A lot of Jabiers this week. My first note is I was really hoping for a highly talented person for Leo's debut so that we can see some awesome stuff. And then he flat out just proved me wrong by going out there and having the sexiest match I have seen in a while.
I really liked the match. I kind of want him to have a little bit more of a finisher than just a frog splash, but
I'm fine with it. That's like a 6-star for a fucking frog splash.
That is a hell of a frog splash.
That dude reached all the way back and scratched his taint.
Crowd was a little dead at the start of this match, but they woke up a little bit. So that's good.
Well, and so was the jewelry, was that thing legit stuck and he was just the coolest cucumber under pressure?
I kind of think that was the case.
The longer it went on, it was like, oh, that thing's really stuck. I
think it was legit stuck, and he just played it off as part of the gimmick, which is was great work.
Brilliant. I can't tell if it's really stuck or pandering. If not, but there was no panic. And he did all the cool things. He did his 90-degree turns. He did fancy stuff and spinny kicks and flippy shit, and it was great. And I liked it.
Not a huge fan of his theme music.
It's kind of growing on me, but it may take a while.
Yeah, it may. I felt like he needed something kind of not Ricochet's music, obviously, but Ricochet-esque. I think would have fit really well.
Richard O'Shea. Highly recommended. Go watch Lio Rush do things. And our main event of the evening was a 6-man tag elimination match. The only reason I paid any attention to this was to make sure that I had the elimination in order.
I'll be honest, I didn't even pay attention to that.
There you go. So briefly to recap, and I had missed. I was not paying that much attention until the first pin happened. I was like, "Oh, match is over already? That's weird." And then blah 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 has been eliminated. I'm like, "Oh, I better start paying attention."
Yeah, it wasn't even clear to me that it was an elimination match until that happened.
Exactly. So Jack, your boy Jack Gallagher, did an awesome interceptor headbutt on Grand Metalik, who was trying to come off the ropes again, and he pinned Metalik. At one point, Gulak had a hold of Lince Dorado's face mask and did the reverse snap down to kind of plant him firmly on his back on the mat, and the mask came right off, and Gulak just had this evil fucking slow sauntering sneering thing going on, and somebody finally got the mask back on Lince, and then after a while, Lince eliminated Kendrick with the golden injection. I mean, the lethal rewind. I mean, I'm confused. After a while, Kendrick came back out and cheated. Zounds! He cheated. Unbelievable.
The heel cheats.
What a heel. Lince then got gulaked. You get gulaked and get got. So at that point, it's 2-on-1 for the Alliance versus the Luchas. So I have written down here, Lucha winning entire match confirmed. I think I just lost interest. Then Kalisto proved me right by eliminating Jack Gallagher. And at some point, your boy Gulak nailed Kalisto with a massive discus lariat, which was all the things. And then eventually he got gulaked. But he actually, Gulak had pulled Kalisto's mask most of the way off as well, and put him in the gulag so that he either tapped or he just kind of got his face shown. So they finally did the mask thing right. They did not only that, but they did it right twice in one match.
Yeah, no, that was nice. I just feel like I've seen every possible permutation to let these guys have.
Yeah, I think this needs to be the end of this feud. Can we please do that?
Yeah, the only problem is what you do with the house party after that.
Mm-hmm.
Need a bigger roster, guys. Need a bigger roster.
Correct. We start off with the NXT. One bit of news that I knew ahead of time, but I forgot to mention. Your boy Lars Sullivan has a broken jaw.
Yeah, they went through this on the show.
Exactly.
And that was a solid break. Jesus.
Yes, that thing is broken in half. And also, Oni Lorcan is out with a broken orbital bone.
That's in no way surprising based on how Oni Lorcan wrestles.
Correct. So that's your injury news for the week. We had Alistair Noir come down and do a promo, to be interrupted by Tommy Chompers. He's such a scamp.
I enjoyed this actually. There was a lot of truth actually on the promos, which again, it's nice to mix a little bit of that in. Don't give me a delusional heel bullshit. There's got to be a grounding in reality.
Indeed. After that, we had I have a misspelled name here. We had a Vanessa Borse promo.
That's a better name for her.
I think so. She said ridiculously stupid things like, I'm a Vision, and I'm going to be the champ.
I'm a Vision, and Kairi Sane dresses like a pirate. Why did she do that? Oh. Yeah, they've
dumb and bad.
They need a lot of work with this girl. She's green, so I accept it, whatever, but I feel like she's getting pushed slightly too fast.
I'm just totally bored with everybody telling everybody all the time that everybody's going to be the champ.
I'm relatively okay with it, but there probably should be more to the storyline than just that. And the thing is like, Vanessa Bourne, you've been a jobber this whole time, so in what way does you calling, I'm going to be the champ really make any sense? It's we just talked about it with Ciampa. I need a heel that's grounded in reality to a degree, and Vanessa Bourne is not.
Yup. So that was not good. I have noticed, in quotes, I'm a Vision. And then I'm like, bitch, you basic and tempoless.
Yeah. I'm not of the green ladies that they brought in off the Mae Young Classic, which is Lacey Evans, Vanessa Bourne, and Bianca Belair. And there were a couple others that were slightly green, but these are the three super green ones. Vanessa Bourne is the worst of the bunch.
Yup. Yeah. And then to follow that up, we had a match between Le Jabier and the finest
Kona Reeves.
And I enjoyed the match. I was going to say for the record, this was not his best match, but everything he did was the cockiest thing you've ever seen, and most of it was pretty fucking smooth, and most of it was pretty rough. So I liked all of it.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. We actually got a jobber chant for the jobber Max Umberto.
Exactly. Dude's such a good heel, he's getting the jobber chants, because they had no idea who he was until now. I can guarantee that.
Yep. It also helps that he looks like a wrestler. That's kind of the thing. Like, we had it with the Leo Rush match when they brought in Dewey James. And, like, Dewey James looks like a jobber. Like, if I were to bring in a wrestling fan who's been in a coma for 20 years and had them watch Leo Rush versus Dewey Jones, they're like, oh, that guy's a jobber.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy looks like a wrestler. And he actually got a little bit of theme music, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I like to see it. Like, that's been my thing with the jobbers in NXT a lot of the time, is like, it's so painfully obviously a jobber that it's painful. Like, you have guys like Donovan Dijak, for example, who you did not give a television debut for frickin' ages. Use them as the jobbers, at least. Jesus Christ.
It took him like a year to get Dijak on TV, and then they jobbed him out in his first match.
Yeah, they jobbed him out anyway. So
fuck?
You might as well give them at least some regular in-ring time as jobbers. God damn it.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, one highlight of the match was the cockiest Brett's rope relaxed elbow drop you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love that. He got up on Brett's rope, and for those that are uninitiated, that's the middle rope, in the corner, and then he just kind of fell backwards, very, very lackadaisically, and then eventually put his elbow up, like, okay, I guess I have to elbow drop you here.
This is one of the more interesting heels in the sense that, in a way, I like this, but in a way, I don't like this, and that is that the face commentator, Percy Watson, is actually Kona Reeves' fan, and Nigel, the heel commentator, is actually anti-Kona Reeves, which is interesting. I like that. I've said it before. If you're going to have a heel commentator, I think he has to relate to some of the heels and be against some of the heels. Mm-hmm. And that's what Nigel does so very well. Like, he's not just on every heel's nuts. He's on some heel's nuts.
Exactly.
If you're not Nigel McGuinness based on his storylines kind of guy, he's not cheering for you. It's not like Jerry Lawler being all up on Kane's nuts when he's a heel. It's like, this makes no sense.
Pretty much. They have revealed that Mustache Mountain they grabbed the Tito's from the Undisputed Law. Was during their UK tournament, so that's pretty exciting.
Tyler Bate gets a little more gold.
All right. Then we had a match between Candice LeRae and Lacey Evans, and I still not really liking Candice's music. It's very mid-tempo, very kind of bleh.
Yeah, not really a fan of it, but I thought this was actually a very good match. I'm of two minds about the use of Candice, though. I've said it before, I want the Green Girls to work with veterans and learn from them. But I would also like
to see it on TV.
Well, no, I don't even mind seeing it on TV because I think at some point there has to graduate to TV.
Yeah, but I don't need to see their fucking tryout matches on TV.
Yeah. It's a little early. But I would also like to see that interspaced with Candice having really, really good matches with, like, your Kairi Zanes, your Dakota Kais, although that wouldn't really work from a storyline standpoint. But you know what I mean. Like, really good wrestlers to allow us to show up Candice. Because the thing is we've seen Candice against nothing but the Green Girls. We've seen Bianca Belair, we've seen Lacey Evans, we've seen who else did she face? There was another one she had a match with as well. And it's like, this is the problem is that a lot of people are watching Candice LeRae largely for the first time. And, she's over because she's Johnny Gargano's woman, and that's going to help her. But she can also have fantastic matches if you let her. And if you're going to keep putting her in there with Lacey Evans, Bianca Belair, she'll be in there with Vanessa Bourne like 2 weeks from now. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
That's a problem. You need to let them... And Kairi Sane's in the same boat. Dakota Kai's in the same boat. Like, they have to, keep it fresh. Like, 1 week, okay, you have a match with Green Girl, you do your thing, you let the Green Girl learn. Then you move on to, like, here's your reward. You get to have an excellent bring down the house match with somebody that you can have a really good match with. That needs to start happening.
Yeah, the flip side of that is I think they reserve those for takeovers, which may be why everybody has such a high regard for takeover events, because they always have the best matches.
True, but I mean, you need to let some of the women shine, because I mean, on the takeover matches, you've got the women's title match and usually nothing else from the women.
That's true.
Because you don't really have any particularly great storylines going. So, mixing it. Like, it doesn't have to be a 1-for-1 ratio, but maybe like once a month be like, all right, we're going to have a women's showcase match this month. We're going to put up Candice LeRae against Kairi Sane. We're going to let them go out there and have, not a 5-star match, but, something nice, like 4 and a quarter, or something like that.
I'd be fine with that.
Because that will allow the women to get over a little bit more and show it. Because I think something that has to be remembered is that women's wrestling is still, in the eyes of many, very damaged as an in-ring product. Because the WWE murdered it for 50 years.
Yeah, because Vince hates women.
So you need to rehabilitate that image a little bit, and you have a lot of workers that are capable of doing this, and this includes the main roster as well.
Yep.
You have a lot of workers who are capable of having a great match. Just every once in a while, forget storyline for a moment, forget developing the Green Girls in NXT, and just let them go out there and wow the crowd.
That is correct. They used to do that.
They did. They don't do it anymore.
Also correct. After that, we had a Johnny Wrestling promo, which was awesome.
Yeah, this was interspersed with like a bunch of promos. You had the Johnny Gargano talking about wanting a third match with Ciampa, which will happen. I'd like to see a little delay on that, maybe a little bit. Like let Ciampa have his match with Aleister Black in the meantime. Just absence makes the heart ground a little fonder.
Or and hear me out here. what if your boy Johnny Wrestling comes out and wrecks Tommaso Ciampa like Ciampa did to Gargano before his title shot? And
That
then,
works as well.
And then you suspend Johnny for whatever, and then you get Gargano coming back, and he's pissed this time. If he didn't think he was mad before, he mad now. And your friend plays horrible guitar.
It's actually not showing up on the podcast, which is awesome.
That is awesome. I can hear every fucking thing.
Because the TeamSpeak is actually more sensitive than the recording software.
That's hilarious. Anyway, so you got one guy, you flip-flopped. One guy's suspended, the other guy's injured. And then they come back, and at this point, Aleister Black's had enough. He's like, fuck you both. I'll take you both on. You can both eat dicks.
Aleister Black versus DIY.
Yeah, that would be... I would watch that 3 times. In a row. So that was an awesome promo, and with the awesome line that Ciampa does not get to win.
Sure.
We followed that up with Heavy Machinery promo, and it's no more fun and games time. No more fun and games, which is kind of scary.
It's time for Heavy Machinery to take the mighty a little seriously.
Exactly.
It means more sausages.
More sausage. We had a Candice LeRae promo, which is all I have here is great face stuff. So she must have done good things on that promo too.
Also in here, it was announced that William Regal says Gargano must move on from Ciampa, and he will match up against EC3.
That should be interesting. We had our main event of the evening was going to be Mustache Mountain versus Le Jabiers.
Dave Dixon is a jobber. Carl Axelrod's got a little bit of hype behind him.
No, he doesn't.
A little bit. Not main event NXT TV show hype. Like, as soon as they came out, I'm like, I know who Carl Axelrod is. I don't know Dave Dixon. This is quite clearly they're going to get jumped, and we're going to get a different match.
And they did. Undisputed jumped Jabiers, and it was a pretty savage beating. Just have Lord have mercy written down.
I loved Kyle O'Reilly's bit for this. He just comes out with 3 mics and just hands them out calmly. It's like, I'm the sane one. I'm the one you want to deal with.
It was fantastic. They cut great promos coming down to the ring.
Fantastic work. Oh, so good.
They proceed to attempt a beatdown of Mustache Mountain to reclaim their titles. And then Richard O'Shea shows up.
One and only.
That was fantastic. They need to always do that with him, just interrupting things with his theme song. And
Ricochet.
Holla, player, we got a 6-man tag.
Yeah, we got the Teddy Long special. Ricochet doing his thing, which is I get to tag with the champions because he tagged with Aleister Black against EC3 and Velveteen Dream on the UK shows.
And it was a really, really, really good match. Really good.
This was a fantastic match. Not a lot of you can't miss spots, which is a bit weird for a Ricochet match actually. But a lot of really good work here. The tandem offense was spectacular. Mm-hmm. You had Mustache Mountain do the kind of little flip thing that boost up flip thing, and Ricochet's like, no, hold that thought, bam! I can do that better.
I'm gonna hoist you up, and you're gonna do a flip in the air. Ready? And he just flops backwards. Ricochet's like, no. Let's really do that.
Let's do this proper. This was a fantastic match. These guys have excellent chemistry together, considering they really haven't been matching up all that much, to my knowledge. And just really great work. We had the ending with it looked like the faces were going to go over. Ricochet had Kyle O'Reilly or Adam Cole out with a massive top rope aerial maneuver-ish. And Kyle O'Reilly with the save. Ricochet dives to the outside and destroys him, but then Roddy Strong comes in with the backbreaker on the fucking apron. Ow! Jesus Christ! Throws him back in there, Cole pins him, Undisputed Era goes over, but does not get titles.
No titles for you. Must win fairly and squarely.
I'm really looking forward to Mustache Mountain feuding with the Era. That's going to be great, and I think this probably leads to Ricochet challenging Adam Cole.
Baby.
Adam Cole, baby!
Which then brings us into the Elite, the Elite, which you didn't watch because you're a dummy.
I'm a terrible human being. That's just all there's to it.
You are the lowest form of human podcaster.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Don't deny this.
So we opened Being the Elite, which came out on Sunday, so you've had a whole fucking week to watch this. We got Jay Lethal, and he's been having spells where people come up and tap him on the shoulder, and then he goes into full black machismo for about 30 seconds before people are like, okay, buddy, and tap him on the shoulder again, and then he switches back to normal.
Oh, you!
So this has been going on for like 4 months or 5 months or something like that, and he's at this point, he's getting paranoid about it and really worried. And your boy Harry Smith shows up and taps him on the shoulder, and he goes into full black machismo and starts like, ooh, Bulldog, how you doing? Where's your braids? And, a bunch of stuff like that, like, because he is the Macho Man, so it's bad. It's 1980 all over again, right?
Pretty much. We're back in the 80s to early 90s, maybe.
Exactly. So he's like, oh, yeah, Bulldog. And then Harry taps him on the shoulder, like, okay, buddy, I gotta go. And he's like, good, Harry, hey, how did it happen again? Oh, fuck. One doctor said I got 6 months to live? I don't know what the fuck.
Now we just need to work in, like, Jay Flair in there as well.
That'd be the other shoulder.
The left shoulder is Randy Savage, right shoulder is Ric Flair.
Exactly. We cut to the Young Bucks are backstage at Access TV. They're filming vignettes for a marathon of ROH on Access TV, most of which features the Bullet Club, and they're hosting it with Cody. And they reveal on camera that they actually meant to super kick him, not Omega, back at the previous pay-per-view. Then we cut to the Young Bucks lifting because they're heavyweights, son. And so they're
lifting weights, baby.
They're lifting weights, and there's the imitation Boston Bucks are behind the camera, and they start talking in the Boston accent and like berating the Young Bucks. Do you think Evil and Sonata don't do more reps and stuff like that? Was awesome. Then we cut to Cody Rhodes about to enter Gillies in Dallas, Texas. And he's so happy to be back because the last time he was there, he got to burn Christopher Daniels alive. And he hits the super smug car salesman smile. And then they cut to a clip of him powerbombing Christopher Daniels through a flaming table. So that's fun. And then we got Marty Scurll going up to the Young Bucks going like, what's going on with Being the Elite, guys? You guys haven't given me anything in a while. To which Nick's like, sorry, creative just doesn't have anything for you at the moment. So Marty has a minor flip out, and he's like, well, what about Marty and Flip Take Japan? I thought that was going places. He's like, yeah, the fans didn't really like it that much. He's like, no, I could get it over, guys. Come on, I want to do more Marty and Flip Take Japan, which he was totally opposed to while they were actually doing it.
He's feeling it now.
Exactly. And at one point, I think Matt gives him like, okay, you can do that. And he hits his no-look pool shot, and then kind of saunters over to say his final line, and then they make it another about 5 to 8 seconds before they all break out into laughter because no one can really believe he made that shot. So we cut to Marty and Flip Take Japan, and Marty's like, you're not in Japan. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. We can do it anywhere. So we cut to Marty and Flip Take Japan, and Marty and Flip are like backstage somewhere in Texas. And then as they're trying to, talk to the camera, SCU just like walks through camera shouting SCU.
Christopher Daniels always buzz killing.
Yeah, it was all three of them. And then we cut to SCU in a parking lot, and Scorpio Sky, of course, has to tell you that this is the worst town he has ever been in. It's a great line. I enjoy it. Christopher Daniels makes the I shot JR line because, Dallas, the TV show.
Of course.
To which Kaz is like, why did you shoot JR? Why'd you shoot Jim Ross? Like, no, you idiot, the show. And then who was it? Kaz is like, you say you said that this is the worst place you've ever been, or worst town you've ever been into. You say that all the time, but you're always right. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have to just take my word for it. What do you think, Dallas, Texas resident Chris Bosch? To which photogenic Chris Bosch just takes a giant dump on Texas, and they all walk off.
Chris Bosch, baby!
Yeah. Dallas sucks a bag of dicks. SCU! Which I desperately hope that he makes a return to wrestling and joins SCU, because that would be shit.
I could do with more Chris Bosch in my life.
Indeed. Cut backstage to, I believe, an ROH show, and your boy Hangman Page is walking and is accosted by intrepid reporter Gregory Helms, who flat out accuses him of killing world-famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan, to which Hangman gets hot and gets presses his nose right in his face, and is like, you fucking don't, you get the fuck out of here and don't you never come back, and stuff like that, and just pushing him back and stuff, and then he storms off, and Gregory Helms like, that motherfucker guilty, he did that shit. And then
stand back, there's a criminal coming through.
Exactly. And so we cut to the scene where they're just basically replaying the clip from the mysterious person, the mysterious informer who sent the Japanese police to, which I believe was, the email address was something like police@japan.jp or something like that. So he sends off you might want to look at the footage. This looks like, this is the night that world famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan got killed, and it looks to me like it's famous actor Stephen Amell. And then they actually pull back from the keyboard and the computer screen to reveal the mysterious emailer is Christopher Daniels.
Fallen angel throwing some shade.
Exactly. So that's why you should have watched Being the Elite, and you are a schmuck.
Chris Bosch being in it does make me want to watch it.
And intrepid reporter Gregory Helms.
Yeah, well, I've seen intrepid reporter Gregory Helms.
But this was better than WWE Gregory Helms.
Well, everything is better than WWE Gregory Helms.
And then you get to hear Senada mispronounced really badly, which was hilarious. You got to watch this episode. Those things that I listed, plus Cody Rhodes' delivery on his I got to burn Christopher Daniels alive. Hee
You're not Shannon. You're not Evan. They were way better than you.
And yeah, this is a great episode. It's actually shorter than the regular episodes, so you have zero choice but to go watch it.
I always have choice.
You do not choose correctly.
I believe in free choice. This is not Westworld.
I believe in expensive choice.
Shall we move on to Lucha Underground?
Lucha.
This week's episode of Lucha Underground was really, really good. We had the three-way Cradle to the Grave matchup, which is always great.
Yeah. Whoa.
And we opened up with Ricky Mundo showing off his doll to Jack Evans and PJ Black. And
this was the greatest.
They are horrified. Johnny Mundo comes in and says, "Guys, the Reptile Tribe is declared war on us. We're gonna send out Jack Evans. You got your put up or shut up challenge. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna challenge the Reptile Tribe." And Jack is like, No, can't do it. I hate snakes. I hate snakes. Hey, you're the Dragon Slayer. No, the dragon is a fire-breathing creature that when you beat it, gives you honor. Snakes are just wrong. Also, I really would rather go get a tube shoved up my butt.
I got a colonics appointment. I gotta go. I'm like, are you serious?
And Johnny Mundo is like, okay, everyone has your orders. And by the way, has anyone seen Ed Helico? Because I owe that guy an ass whooping.
Don't ask for that. Don't ask for Ed Helico, because he'll show up mysteriously at high speed.
He will show up at high speed from the top of the fucking building.
Yup.
And so the doll says, "Ricky, your secret is safe with me." So Ricky Mundo has a secret of some kind. And you think it'll involve Ed Helico? Maybe.
Could be.
So we open up with Jack Evans' Put Up or Shut Up challenge, which leads to him facing off with XO-licious. And
who I've never heard of before this moment in time.
Had never heard of. I have here, well, look at this. We have New Jersey's answer to Pimpinella.
Correct. It's this dude. I don't listen. We were talking about it during the match. This guy's gimmick is he's basically a feminine man, or I don't know what it's not a cross dresser. There's nothing. It's kind of hard to pin down. Like not quite like way more sexual than Goldust.
Yeah, a lot of booty shaking.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Is like that dude had his ass out the whole time, like just sticking out.
His gimmick is like 75% ass.
Correct. Awesome in the ring. This dude is some sort of hidden gem. I don't know where he came from. Does amazing things. Does so with like stripper posture the entire time. Well, holy shit. That's way more physical talent than I have.
Yes, tremendously.
I just want to know, is that a posture thing with the booty, or did that guy do just all the squats for years?
I'm going to go with a little of both.
Fair enough.
And he gets the win, which is, of course, very weird, because you don't get wins on your debut in Lucha Underground. This is just not a thing that really happens.
Yeah,
except if you're against Jack Evans.
Yeah, I think like 4 people ever have debuted and won.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Finished him off with a split leg face buster from the top rope.
It was fantastic.
Pretty freaking awesome. I have here Jack Evans losing Warms My Heart. Also, Jack Evans trying to mimic his mannerisms was pretty fucking hilarious.
I think this is the most over Jack Evans has ever been with you.
I mean, that's not hard. That's not hard. I was going to say, the 2 times he had his jaw wired shut probably was over more with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Human Tornado, for discovering that, you know what, if you wire Jack Evans' jaw shut, he's actually more entertaining. Then we moved on to a Pentagon promo. Basically, no one is taking my title. And this man, has a wrestler ever been quite so over as Pentagon? Jesus Christ.
No.
It is amazing. His promos are great. Like, this is the thing. Like, I don't speak Spanish beyond, like, a handful of words. And his delivery still conveys everything I need to know about what he is saying. He is fantastic on the mic. Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. And the subtitles help, too.
That helps. That helps me get the literal things. But, like, I honestly get the gist of the promo without the subtitles. It's pretty fucking impressive. And anyways, Cage comes out and attacks him from behind, and puts him through, power bombs him through a table, belt shot, and it's like, I cannot be broken because I am a machine, which doesn't really make all that much sense because a machine can be broken.
That is true. Machines will break down,
unless they are like perpetual motion machines.
What if he's just a really well greased machine?
We had a backstage bit with Phoenix and Melissa Santos. Melissa is worried about the match tonight. Phoenix is confident. He has, of course, been victorious in Grave Consequences before. But this is his first 3-way. So we move on to the 3-way to the grave. Mil Muertes with Katrina versus Jeremiah Crane versus Phoenix. And this was all of the fun for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, there was not much that they didn't do. I noticed that Jeremiah Crane didn't he hit most of his classic spots, but there was it seemed like he was holding back in this match. Is that an impression that you got?
A little bit. I mean, we've seen what Jeremiah Crane usually does in a street fight scenario, and it involves a baseball bat.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was no baseball bat, so despite my various puns while we were watching it. So, anyways, we end up... my spot of the match was honestly Mil Muertes at one point just kind of disappears. And then Jeremiah Crane is celebrating in front of this freight elevator. And it opens up and there's Bill! And he's completely recovered and he's going to crush you with the door. So that was fun. You got a ceiling splash from Phoenix Angelico called. He wants his spot back. We got a pile driver through a table, and Phoenix gets pushed into the coffin by Jeremiah Crane. But Jeremiah has a little unfinished business in his background. A little bit. And her name is Ivelisse. And she returns like a complete bat out of hell with a rubber hammer, starts wailing on him with it, busts him open, puts him inside the coffin, and locks him in it. So Jeremiah Crane is eliminated by his ex-girlfriend. Never trust a woman scorned.
Also true.
So we go on to the one-on-one match, the kind of, the main part of this feud, Mil Muertes versus Phoenix. And Mil hit like a beautiful snap power slam with when it started tearing at the mask. I thought he had killed Phoenix at that point. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a little concerning.
Yeah, not a ton happened from this point onwards. In the end, Mil puts Phoenix in the coffin, and a very, very distraught Melissa Santos announces him as the victor. So, do we think Phoenix is actually going to be dead this time?
No, he's a Phoenix.
He will rise from the ashes. He will have another one of his 1,000 lives and give a couple to Melissa Santos.
He'll be rising up back on the street.
Mm-hmm. And then we finished off the episode with a pretty long little post-credit shot with Antonio and Matanza Cueto. So Matanza is chained up in some kind of room. And Antonio starts talking about how he was granted a favor by the gods when he gave them his son. And that was that Matanza got to retain part of his soul. And it is apparently trapped inside the key that Dario and now Antonio possessed. And that's why it has the power over him. So he throws the key to Matanza and tells him to break it to end his son. And Matanza does, and Antonio walks away all sad. Goodbye, my son. And Mil Muertes, or not Mil Muertes, Matanza is just roaring. So Matanza was a badass before, but now he's 100% God. So this is going to be fun.
But is he a machine?
I mean, he'll go up against the machine at some point, I'm sure.
He might be a god machine.
And then we're going to finish off with ROH's Best in the World!
Good old breasts in the world.
We opened up with the 6-man title match with Sanada, Bushi, and Evil challenging the Kingdoms team of Matt Damon, Vinny Marcelli, and TK. I love the 2 tickets to Paradise spot. That's always fun. The Paradise lock never ceases to be over with me. It's great.
You put it on, was it TK Orion?
It was TK and then Matt Taven.
Yeah, and then, Taven comes in to interrupt him, and he's like, haha, I will Paradise lock you! And then he can't figure it out, and then Sanada just kind of like small packages him over, and then puts him in the Paradise lock.
And then kicks them both in the butt.
Exactly. Double drop kick. It was awesome.
Not much else in terms of like big spots. It was a good match. It had good pace to it. Good storyline. And in the end, despite being misted by Bushi, the Kingdom retains with the Rockstar Supernova move.
Yay!
Then we had a Bully Ray and Flip Gordon recap and also a Flip promo. This was a very good promo by Flip. He's coming along a long way, and Flip Gordon is going to be all of the money come 3 years down the road. Go-do-don. So we have the Flip Gordon versus Bully Ray match. Flip Gordon starting out on fucking fire.
Yeah, did. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, largely a lot of big man, small man stuff, as basically is the Bully Ray match of the times. In the end, Bully Ray missed a Vader bomb and then wound up just getting himself DQ'd for beating up Flip Gordon with a chair.
Yep.
And a young boy came out. I don't know who was the guy that originally tried to help him before Cheeseburger.
Shit, I don't remember.
Anyways, one of the younger wrestlers in ROH comes out and bam, chair for you too. And then Cheeseburger comes out. He gets a little bit of offense in, but no Shote. He gets power bombed. And finally, now, okay. Thing I didn't like about this, we had the commentators yelling for, like, the Briscoes to help. And, like, where are all these people? Like, you're listing a bunch of heels.
Yeah.
Why the hell would they come out here? Eventually, the save is made by Colt Cabana, armed with a chair.
Colt Cabana has been really riding Bully Ray on commentary for like a month.
Yep.
So this makes all the sense in the world to happen, and I enjoyed it. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a feud there, but I think the Flip Gordon needs his blow-off win.
Yeah, I
Cheeseburger still. I think. Well, I wonder if they're gonna like gang up on Bully Ray and just beat the shit out of him all the time.
Yeah, that could work. That could work too.
Because
Mr. Ray, why don't you take a seat?
he had a feud, the same kind of feud with Cheeseburger, and but I think they I can't remember if they had Liger come in and help him out. I know he came in and tagged with Cheeseburger one time, but I can't remember what that was about.
Then we had the women's 8-woman match, and this was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Kelly Klein managed to be sufficient, and everybody else is better than her, so it was good.
Pretty much. In the end, the faces go over with a fucking scary looking like bridging suplex pin. Jesus Christ. Then we had Austin Aries versus Kenny King. The big storyline, of course, here is Kenny King cost Austin Aries a title. He is the belt collector, so you do not cost Austin Aries a title. These two, of course, Austin Aries at one point was his big mentor, so the question is who's willing to kind of go further to beat the other one in these two former friends. The answer, of course, was Austin fucking Aries.
Of course.
I assume you have a fair amount to say about this match because of your feelings towards Mr. Kenny King.
I really don't have that much to say about the match. I just liked making fun of Kenny King because he's obviously a male prostitute.
Alrighty then.
That's pretty much it. The match was fine. It wasn't the best match I've ever seen because really Kenny King can't get to that level in wrestling. It's just not going to happen for him. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
I think he could, but I think it would require an attitude change that I don't really think is in the cards.
Yeah, well, I mean, the best part of his career was Rhett Titus, so.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Then we had Jay Lethal trying to avenge his last loss against Mr. Kushida.
Mr. Kadushi.
This was very interesting because Kushida was kind of playing a little bit of a heel role in this match with imitating Jay Lethal's mannerisms a little bit. He was constantly going for the lethal injection as well.
Well, I mean, he is a greasy foreigner, so,
Foreign heel tactics. This had, in my opinion, one of the spots of the night with Kushida countering a dive by Lethal and putting him in an armbar. That was pretty fucking awesome. On the outside, where you theoretically have like a nice 20 count to work with.
16, 17, 18...
Back in the ring. Yeah. In the end, though, Lethal did go over, hit the lethal injection. He gets his win, so presumably we have a title shot coming in the future.
One would assume he is during. I don't know how far through he is of this, and they may just ignore some of them, but I think it was Joe Koff said that he had to basically, you got to get wins back, and so Jay Lethal's like, I'll do you one better. I'll beat everybody that I lost to in the last 2 years.
I think they said Kushida was the last one.
It could be. I missed that if that's the case.
I believe that was the case stated. I could be wrong, but I believe that was stated.
You get the Tito?
Then we had a TV title match. Baltimore Street Fight. Hangman Page versus Punishment Martinez, the champion. And if anyone knows anything about me, I was cheering for Punishment Martinez.
Racist.
It has nothing to do with race.
Yeah, anybody out there that doesn't know, Mio really hates white people, so.
This is wrong on so many levels. I just for a long time really didn't like Hangman Page. He's grown on me like a sexually transmitted disease, but it's still part of my gimmick. I have to hate on Hangman Page, especially when he tries to do shooting star presses with no vertical or no horizontal movement. Which at one point they were talking about verticality with Hangman Page in this match, and I'm just like, yeah, the verticality's fine. It's the horizontal that's terrible. I don't remember what that was even in reference to.
Adam Hangman Page, master of the vertical mambo.
Indeed. This was a perfectly acceptable street fight. I am a CCW fan, so street fights usually don't impress me after I've seen Nick Mondo suck a couple of, weed whackers to the chest. You know, it has desensitized me to a great degree. Anyways, Martinez ends up with the win. He did have to eat some tax on his way to the victory, though. Yeah. He, in the end, chokeslammed Hangman Page through a table and pins him. He retains the title, so no title for Hangman Page.
South of Heaven chokeslam. I enjoyed this match. It was enjoyable, and other people should enjoy it as well.
We had the Bucks taking on the Briscoes for the ROH Heavyweight Tag Team titles. This, of course, a win here would be for the Bucks would make them IWGP and ROH champions simultaneously. Not sure if that's ever been done before.
I'm pretty sure the Briscoes have done it.
It's
Actually,
quite possible.
I'm definitely sure they've done it because they had 2 belts last time they were in Japan, basically.
Good point.
So it was either the ROH championships or the PWG championships.
I think it was the ROH 6-man that they held with Bully Ray at that time.
That could be, but I'm pretty sure it was the tag titles.
Anyways, this match was really good, as you would imagine, from the Bucks and the Jacksons. Or the Bucks and the Briscoes. Because these are 2 of the best teams in pro wrestling today. Would it be too far to say they are the 2 best tag teams?
Let's see. Who else we got out there as a tag team? Golden Lovers.
Golden Lovers, I think, haven't quite hit their stride as a tag team around this time yet.
True, but I mean, both of those guys individually are awesome, and you put them in a team, and it's just more awesome. So I don't even know if they need to hit a stride as a team. They're just great in the ring. I'm trying to come up with anybody else. Great tag teams. If they weren't being held down by retards, probably the Revival.
The Revival. This is true. I would say that the team of Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly have to be mentioned as well.
Yep, that's definitely a thing. Even if Bobby Fish was in there, you'd still mention those guys.
Yep.
Jeff Cobb plus anybody?
Jeff Cobb plus Michael Elgin.
Yeah.
Also, Pentagon and Phoenix win the tag.
Correct. That is correct.
And then we head on to our main event of the evening, a 3-way for the ROH title. We have Marty Scurll versus Cody with Brandy Rhodes and Bernard, the Business Bear. And Dalton Castle with the Boys.
Them oily boys.
I really enjoyed the double submission lock-in on Dalton Castle, because it's like, but if he taps out, who actually wins?
This is just a great match. I enjoyed it thoroughly from bell to bell. At that point, it was about 2:30 in the morning for me, and I had some drinks, and things are pretty hazy on details. But Jeebus Creebus, I'll probably have to go watch it again just to make sure I get everything in my brain. But it was, all the things were good. There was a lot of occasional double teams from Cody and Scurll until they realized that they shouldn't be doing that, and then they're like, oh, and we will go after each other now. And,
yeah, it was a very interesting dynamic that way. And the other interesting dynamic was, of course, Nick Aldis being at ringside and getting involved in the match at one point.
Also true.
Interfering on behalf of Cody, because, of course, if Cody wins, we set up a champion versus champion, and Magnus has a chance to become ROH champion as well as NWA champion.
NWA.
Things get crowded at ringside. You've got the Boys getting involved. You've got Bernard the Business Bear getting involved, and then eventually Todd Sinclair's just like, everybody, you, everyone, get the fuck out!
Everybody out of the pool.
Leaving us with just the 3 men actually in the match. In the end, we have Cody Rhodes going for the Freedom Powder spot, but Marty's like, super kick, bam. You had the Freedom Powder all over yourself.
That's a lot of Freedom Powder.
It was
like a
lot.
handful.
It was a lot of Freedom Powder. It was a full pouch. In the end, Dalton Castle hits the Bangarang to pin Marty Scurll. He retains the title, which is probably how this should have ended, in my opinion.
Yeah,
probably keep it built up.
The one thing I really enjoyed was the amount of finishers they, ordinarily it's not good, but they teased a lot of finishers and actually used a lot of finishers, but then interrupted the guy after he got his finisher off.
Well, that's the thing, is in a 3-way or any kind of multi-man match, you can hit a lot of false finishers and get away with it, because you have another guy to break up the count.
Highly enjoyable indeed.
So, yeah, Best in the World was really good. Lucha Underground was very good as well. Wasn't terribly enthused by NXT outside of the main event. Wasn't terribly enthused by 205 Live outside of the debut of Leo Rush being fucking great.
Yeah.
But a lot of good things going. I'm hoping to see 205's roster get a little bit larger so we get some fresh matchups, because if you're going to make them have like 7 to 8 move sets, then we can't be seeing Kalisto versus Drew Gulak for the 13th time. Like
Correct.
It's just not something that's going. It's not going to work if you can't give me variety in the moveset.
Just give me variety in match type, and tag matches don't count. So, like, make it a street fight, make it a fucking Hell in a Cell, make it a ladder match, make it a ladder match. Drew Gulak now has to climb a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, fucking pay me to book your shit.
Yeah. It's a bit, the 205 booking is kind of painful, and just like a lot of very basic things are not happening.
Yeah.
And a lot of pennies that don't need to be squeezed are being squeezed.
Yeah, I mean, things are definitely better than they were since Triple H got control, but they're not where I would have just had them throw the car into fourth gear right away and go, but they're still stuck in like looking at third gear right now. So, yeah, it'll get there, I think, as long as they don't cancel it.
I don't think they'll cancel it. I mean, they've got to give people a reason to, fucking subscribe to the network. So, I don't think there's any danger of going away, but they don't, in a nutshell, they don't seem to get that in this day and age, the way they see cruiserweight wrestling doesn't work. And it's like they don't want it to work, because you're making them do, occasionally there's something really awesome there, like Mustafa Ali will pull out something, but largely you're having them be heavyweights, and they're smaller guys. Heavyweights can get away with being heavyweights. These guys aren't. They're cruiserweights. There has to be some kind of differentiation on how the match actually is, and for the most part they're failing to actually deliver on that.
All you have to do is look at New Japan. They do it absolutely right. They have everybody on one show. And you know why? Because they differentiate between the heavyweight style and the cruiserweight style. That's it. That's all you got to do. You got to have you have these guys that work these different styles. Let them do it. You fucking morons.
You have fantastic. Like, I am a massive fan of almost everyone on the 205 roster. I am massive fan of Drew Gulak, massive fan of Lindsay Dorado, TJP, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, massive fan of Brian Kendrick, Jack Gallagher, Grand Metalik.
Zach Gowen.
If Zach Gowen was there, I would be. I've only got one leg.
He'd easily make weight.
Yes, he would. Even with 2 legs, he would make weight. But they're just still not handling it right. Oh, and I actually completely forgot the 2 biggest guys I'm fans of: Akira Tozawa and fucking Hideo Itami.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, do we want to run down the G1 Climax blocks?
Sure. Let's roll it.
In Block A, we have Michael Elgin, Bad Luck Fale, Togi Makabe, Kazuchika Okada, Hangman Page, Minoru Suzuki, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Jay White, and Yoshi Hash Browns.
I believe this is Jay White and Hangman Page's first G1.
Correct.
So are we going to talk about the whole Michael Elgin thing and our confusion about how New Japan views it?
Yeah, we can do that. As I understand it, female wrestler or female wrestling trainee was at a school that Michael Elgin was overseeing or owns.
I believe owns.
And apparently she was getting harassed by dudes that were also being trained there, and she complained to him, and he didn't really do much about it. Is that summing it up?
Anything would be more the case.
Fair enough. I don't know if he straight up said you would just tough it up, or just walk it off or whatever. Like, as far as I know, nothing happened. They were just bothering her or harassing her.
There are some indications that he was involved in the harassment as well, but it doesn't seem to be consistent in that regard.
Fair enough. So that's, I guess, her side of the story. I haven't heard anything out of Michael Elgin.
Well, he launched a lawsuit against her. Basically just, I'm trying to clear my name. This has hurt my earnings as a wrestler. Which I'm not really sure is actually the case, but, go for it, I guess.
Well, I mean, he's definitely not booked like he used to be booked in New Japan.
That's true. Which is what we're going to get to, is that after the news of this whole thing broke, including the lawsuit, Elgin goes out there and wins the Never Openweight title, and then he immediately loses it back to Goto. So it's kind of weird, like, what the heck happened with New Japan in terms of how they're really viewing this? Because on one hand, it's like, all right, we're put a title on him, we're kind of ignoring it, and then on the other hand, it's like, oh, we're going to take the title right off of him. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I just don't understand. And as far as I know, there's no corroborating evidence at all. So at this point, it's just kind of hearsay.
Yeah, it's kind of your typical problem with a harassment or like sexual assault case. Not that this is a sexual assault case, but just the comparisons of both is a lot of it comes down to he said, she said, and
and I don't
always makes it interesting.
I don't want to downplay any kind of sexual harassment because that's bullshit. That shouldn't be happening. But on the flip side, if you're somebody who's going to get into pro wrestling, you're going to be wearing, if you're either sex, you're going to be wearing some very revealing outfits. You're going to have drunk assholes in the crowd doing, saying, or throwing whatever. You're going to have to deal with that for your entire career. So while potential sexual harassment or whatever in the training dojo is not, should not be condoned.
Not kosher.
At some point you're going to have to face that a lot. So
I mean, that in the end becomes the interesting thing is, okay, we don't really have details that I would trust. Like there are if you want to dig out in the internet details, but it's kind of like the Enzo Amore situation in a lesser regard, because let's put it this way, in a world where Enzo Amore is guilty of doing what he was accused of, and let's say Michael Elgin is guilty of what he's accused of, Amore is the bigger piece of trash.
Correct.
However, it's the same thing as, like, we're trying to piece together what actually happened, and that is the question. Your point is also well taken, that unfortunately, for better or worse, really for worse, if you're a woman in the professional wrestling world, and even a guy, there's a large amount of objectification and borderline sexual harassment that you're going to have to deal with, and I hate to say that is part of the gig, because it should not be.
No, but I mean, you can't tell me that Charlotte Flair doesn't come down to the ring to at least once a week, one random asshole just like, take off your fucking clothes, show me your tits.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, like I said, I don't want to downplay, like, anything about this case, but there's no corroborating evidence. This is just he said, she said.
We'll see what comes out in the courtroom with the litigation.
Yeah, if it goes that far. And, you're just going to have to... I don't want to call it like an indoctrination, but it's something that if she didn't deal with it then, and don't stand up for yourself then, like, yes, go to the boss and say, listen, this is happening and it's not right, and then the boss should do something about it. If he got that story from her and then went and talked to the guys that were supposedly or actually doing incorrect and bad things, and they said, we didn't do any of that, then what is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
He's not the cops.
Even the cops have a hard time with prosecutions of this regard. Exactly.
But if you can't deal with it in that situation and at that time in your career, man, are you in for hell, because you're going to be wearing some stuff.
It's probably going to get worse.
Oh, lots worse. And there's going to be lots more of them. So, yeah, that's about where that stands, I guess. In Block B, we have Mio Dread's favorite wrestler, Duke the Dumpster Trophy. Hiroki Goto.
Not my favorite wrestler, but he's up there.
Kota Ibushi, Tomohiro Ishii, Tetsuya Naito, Kenny Omega, Juice Robinson, Zack Sabre Jr., Sanada, Tama Tonga, and Toru Yano.
Toru Yano! Not in the same block as Suzuki.
Correct, which I'm a little disappointed in. But we are going to get to see Yano versus Naito, Yano versus Omega. Yano versus Tama Tonga is always awesome.
That'll be fun.
We're going to get to see Tama Tonga versus Ibushi and Naito and Omega. I'm wondering if this is going to play into the whole leadership of Bullet Club thing. Zack Sabre Jr., not terribly excited for, but I mean, I guess.
I just need a repeat of last G1 when Kenny Omega and Tama Tonga had that tag match. And if you recall, was it Chase Owens? I think it was Chase Owens. Chase Owens kind of wrenched Kenny's knee by accident. Remember Tama Tonga comes in and goes, "That's not how we do it. That's not nice. This is supposed to be a nice, gentle match. It's that knee, right?"
I enjoyed that a great deal. We're also going to see Yano versus Ishii, which is going to be fun or something.
That'll be interesting, that's for sure.
But we got Makabe in one block and Ishii in the other, so we're not going to get to see somebody go home with like fluid streaming out of their nose, spinal fluid leaking out their ears. And
yeah. That might. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
That's probably true. And we're going to get to see, I think this is the rubber match for Naito and Ibushi, probably.
Yeah. So that'll be fun.
So yeah, there's going to be, we're going to what do we got here? Sonata versus Juice Robinson will be fun. Naito versus Juice Robinson will be fun.
Kenny versus Juice.
Kenny versus really anybody is going to be fun. It will be entertaining to see. Now, here's the outsider betting. Does Kenny Omega just run the table as the new champion?
I think he goes to the finals. No. I think he goes the last night alive to go to the finals, and some kind of weird thing happens, like he gets a draw or something, and that causes him not to go to the final match.
That could be. Or do we see Omega versus Okada 5 in the finals?
I think it's a little too soon for that. I would probably save that for a later time. Because I think the G1 Classic...
Or does Okada win the whole thing and then we get Omega versus Okada 5 at Wrestle Kingdom?
See, that would work. That I'm down with. Because I think, like, here's the thing, is the finals of the G1 Climax is its own big deal.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do Omega Okada to make that special.
Correct. But it'd still be interesting.
But you could definitely do Okada versus, a Naito or something in the finals and have that be the big deal.
That could be the big deal. No Tanahashi.
Sure.
Oh, wait. Tanahashi is in it. Never mind. I am dumb. I totally overlooked that. He's in Block A.
Yeah, we get to see Tanahashi versus Okada again, which is
and Suzuki. Yeah.
Always welcome.
Please don't make him wrestle Suzuki on the first night again. Jesus.
Minoru Suzuki's like, there's that Ace guy. He says that's who I want.
Pretty much. On Yoshi Hash Browns, does Yoshi Hash Browns get a win?
He always gets at least one win, so I'm gonna say he gets one win.
Fair enough. He will beat Suzuki.
Could be Suzuki. That's who I actually was thinking he would beat.
Yeah, probably.
He could beat, I don't know. Well, here's the thing, is like, if this ends up being a punishment of Elgin, depending on how the case is going, does Hashi beat Elgin?
6 times.
So that's all we got for this week. We'll be back next week. Happy Canada Day for those who are north of the border. And we're enjoying our long weekend. You are cooking copious amounts of meat. I
have cooked it. I got up at 4:30 in the fucking morning after we stayed up till 2:30 in the morning watching wrestling, and then I put brisket flat and a slab of beef ribs on the pellet grill, and then went the fuck back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so and then I got to get back up at 7:30 to give the cat food and her insulin, and then I went the fuck back to sleep.
I had to get up early for the Formula One race and also for the Russia versus Spain game at the World Cup, and of course Croatia versus Denmark.
You enjoyed the Formula 1?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
And Russia advanced to the final 8, which I believe is the best they have done since they were the Soviet Union.
Over under how much plutonium in Spain's water?
A lot. That's probably the answer, because it's kind of weird that Russia got that many goals against Spain.
A lot is the correct answer.
I'm going to pull a Simpsons joke here. Honestly, I don't know where these accusations come from. I mean, how would I have gotten all 3 components of the drug into her food in precisely the right amounts? Would you have any idea how difficult that is? Anyways, that's all we got. So get off of Byron's lawn unless you're here for the brisket.
Bring me beer and I will give you a taste of brisket.
That's true. Yeah, if you bring him quality beer, not Coors Light,
no,
you will get brisket.
If you bring me Coors Light, you will get to wear Coors Light.
Yeah, and get lit on fire.